Magical invasions. I'm thinking this one's called Blow Me Bubbles. I was walking through my Lindell Royal Capital late one night when I heard some people just beating up the heck out of that old page. And I said, stop that. Don't ever do that again. And I was playing with my magical build, my frog build. But this is my punished Glen frog build. And that means that it's an intelligence arcane build with some dexterity as well for that cast speed, that max cast speed. And you know we got those bubbles. So you know I'm a bubble blower, and you know I like to blow all the bubbles. But guess what? In this invasion, I don't have to blow any bubbles. Can you guess why? It's because the Tootin' Man blows the bubble. Tootin' Man blows the bubble. Toot toot. And that's the end of that invasion. Blow Me Bubbles is what it was called. Can you guess what the theme? Can you guess what the recurring joke in this invasion video is going to be? Do you think you can piece together what this is going to be like? This one's called Come in My Hole. So there I was in this hole, and I was safe in the well, I'm not in the hole yet. Hang on, I'll wait till I get there. One of the things when you invade in these dungeons that have these chariots, you can never tell if it loaded in properly or not, so you have to sit here and wait. Because sometimes you're like, oh, it's not here. I can make my move. I can make the go, and then the chariot just spawns right on top of you, and it's like, haha, I got you. So I'm thinking, and I'm like, man, this sucks. This chariot is like in the perfect wrong spot for me, and it's usually not like this. Usually, if it goes down, it goes all the way down, or like it doesn't go all the way up. But it's like in just the perfect wrong spot. So I'm sitting here like, okay, this is a pain, but it's okay because now now I'm out of range. It's fine. I have no idea where my opponents are, except I can kind of see their health bars flashing around every once in a while, as well as I can kind of judge where the chariot is at. And then here comes one, so I go in this hole because it's safe. And now I have to, he's trying to penetrate my hole with his powerful projectiles. But I'm like, no, you will not explode my hole. This is my hole where it's for me. And but if you want to come in my hole, that's fine, because I will kill you, right? So there's a big hand, there's a big juicy explosion. It's hot in the hole, and down he goes, fire in the hole, coal miners, you know. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, well here comes the host. I wonder what the host, he's gonna come in the hole, right? He gets hit, okay, but then out of nowhere, Chariot starts acting weird, doing weird stuff. Alright, cool, whatever. But then, I'm like, I know the host is right over there, right? There he is. Out of nowhere, here comes another guy in my hole. It's very popular in there today. So we get him with the drill, like right on time, boom. And the host just ran off into the suicide pit. And that's the end of that. That's that invasion right there. And but don't worry, there's plenty of more where that come from, and it's gonna happen right now. What's it called? It's called Hot Boys and Chains. This is one of those places that I don't like to invade. Like anytime I see this area right here, I'm always like, oh god, because it's usually two guys standing at this grace, not doing anything, not moving. And they're just hanging out, and they want invaders to come. It's prominent right there. So every time I see this place, I'm immediately like kind of on edge, like, oh, I hate invading here. Even though it's really not bad, it's just for some reason this is a popular place for the dumb stuff to happen. But I got the bubbles. I blow the bubbles. This guy's got the Bloodhound Fang. It's gonna do 1 million damage, and if you don't believe me, just watch, because he's gonna hit me with it. And you can see how much health I have right now, and now you can see how much health I have right now. That's a pretty big difference. That's a pretty big difference for that, like, I don't know, what was it, like 60% of my health off that one move. That's absolutely wild. But that's what they do. Boom, get out of here. I called it Hot Boys in Chains because there's all these guys with fire. And it's got the chain in it because this guy is running away. And he's like, oh, I'm going to make my escape. But what he doesn't know is, and I do know, is that you can't go across this chain in multiplayer. It's blocked off. I've seen too many hosts try this. There's a fog wall at that gate, and you can't go across it until the multiplayer session is concluded, which means either I die or you die, and Hot Boys in Chains. So the Hot Boys has already happened. Now it's time for the chains. You know how they're like, oh, cool guys don't look at explosions. You're gonna see the stupid version of that. It's like Con Air, but with a dopey frog guy in a bubble. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. That rules actually. Watch, here we go. Turn around, pop, just like that. Look at that face. Look at that face. I call him Frog, but that camera angle right there kind of makes him look like one of those gross fish things. Drill me on the river. Drill me on the river, honest. The other title I had for this one, it didn't fit with the other titles. The other title I had for this invasion, though, was Been Caught Stealing, parentheses, builds. You guys might be familiar with my build, Honest Rivers, which was basically just like it's a really fun build, and it's pretty good, honestly. It might be one of the like grosser builds I've made, but it was basically, I made it when Rivers of Blood was you know, super annoying, and it hadn't been nerfed yet, and I don't think Bleed had been nerfed yet either. I might have made the build right after Bleed got nerfed. Used to, in Elden Ring, if you got bled, even if you rolled the bleed proc, you were you were like staggered, you were stunned for like a full second and a half, and it was so obnoxious. It was so obnoxious. But anyway, Rivers of Blood was very annoying, and people used to hate it. So I made a build that was a Blood Flame Talon. No, Blood Flame Blade Naga Kiba with Blood Flame Talon. And then I put double slash on the Naga Kiba. And I called that build Honest Rivers, because it's like the honest version of Rivers of Blood. And the joke there is that like it's worse, actually. You know. But it's honest, it's not Rivers of Blood, so it's honest. Right? That was the joke. This person we've invaded, they're running that very same build. So I called it Been Caught Stealing, parentheses, builds. But then I thought, you know, that doesn't really fit in with the rest of the video. Look how quick the Blood Flame Blade builds up. And that was like, he got me with like 2 of the attacks out of 4, and like it would have absolutely bled me out. Look how close it is to bleeding me out. If he had managed to get those hits in closer together, absolutely would have bled me out. It's a really fun build, and I just, you know, I don't care if people take my builds. Most of them aren't any good, but Honest Rivers is. It's pretty good. Hammered hard. This one is the same location and area with the same stupid dragon. I hate invading with this dragon. I hate it so much. I hate, like, I don't mind fighting those dragons on my own playthroughs, but I hate fighting this one here on this weird incline. And then when you invade, he's like, he'll just absolutely murder invaders. And like, you know, I get it, he's massive and huge, and so like, he doesn't know, you know, he's just gonna hit anything. So like, that's fair and everything, but it's very annoying. So typically whenever I invade right here, I just run straight into this room and just wait for them to get finished doing whatever the hell they're gonna do. Hammered hard. Oh, I nailed him. Yeah, I got him with the Gavel of Haima. I love that spell. I love it so much. I like any spell which show them my bag. I like any spell that that has you know, magic weapon, like a magic sword or a magic hammer. I love all of that. Look at this guy trying to spawn camp the invader. People ask me, they're like, you know, they don't ask me, but like people ask all the time in my presence. Like I'll be streaming, and this will happen where two people just try and like spawn camp an invader, and you can't. And then the people are like, why do they do that? How do they not know by now? And first and foremost, it's always important to remember that most people don't play the game as much as you do. You know, they don't know all the stuff that you know. And then secondly, if it's an NPC invader, they can absolutely spawn camp the shit out of him. And, you know, how many times do you actually spawn right on top of people? It's not that frequent, right? So, like, they just don't know, you know? It's like, that might be the first time they've ever been invaded with the invader right on top of them. And it's not an NPC invader. So they don't know. Big thrust on sloppy head. You know, they just don't know that you can't do that, right? Because you can if it's an NPC. You know, and again, you know, always assume most people aren't as big of a dork as you. You know, because they probably don't play this game as much, you know. Man, Carrion Piercer, isn't it so good? It's so good. It's such a good spell. And we've got that Carrion Sword bad dragon. That Carrion Sword sorcery staff in our right hand, and so that can do like a whole boatload of damage. You know, all those Carrion Sword sorceries can do like serious damage. Slicer can be disgusting, and Carrion Piercer can also just be like an absolute one-shot. You know, if you've got the build up and running properly, right? The build that I'm using, the frog build, it has Lord of Blood's Exaltation on it. And so if I've got that Lord of Blood's Exaltation buff active, and I've got my two staves, and I get that Carrion Piercer, oh boy, it's damage. Especially fully charged, like that's entering one-shot territory. The Gavel of Haima, for as good as it is, the Faith version of that is the Dragon Claw spell. That's the Faith version of the two-pump chumps. I called it two-pump chumps because I think I win this invasion in 2 moves. I thought about calling it the Minuteman, or the two-pump chump versus the Minuteman. But I thought, you know, just, you know, let's not overdo it here. Let's just call it the two-pump chumps, right? It's better to be succinct when you can. Always be sex man, dick wiener. I ran out of silly titles, so I just called this one Sex Man Dick Wiener. And I totally forgot until right now. Oh, that's funny. Listen, I don't know if you're liked and subscribed yet, but I feel like if I were on YouTube and I came across this content, I would definitely like and subscribe to this content. Me personally, this is tailor-made for my exact taste. Sexman Dick Wiener. Sexman Dick Wiener is the name of one of the bad guys in Hideo Kojima's next video game, Death Stranding 2. One of the main antagonists is called Sexman Dick Wiener. He's a politician, but he's also like the CEO of some company somewhere. Oh man, that's just a really great. That's just a really great title card right there. And you know, if I can't make anyone else laugh, I should at least endeavor to make myself laugh and have a good time. You know, life is too stupid and short to not to not have some fun with it. And, you know, Sexman Dick Wiener is a testament to how much fun and how much joy we can bring ourselves. Let's fight this Hand of Millennia real quick. I think, yeah, look at that. What do you think? What do you think? It's so good. It's so good to do that move. Let's throw some bubbles. I hope you are enjoying, you know, I hope you're enjoying the commentary, but more so, I hope you're enjoying the invasions themselves, because this week's videos will all be with these two builds. I love these builds so much. It's a Faith Arcane caster and an Int Arcane caster. The Faith Arcane caster has a little bit of strength, like 20-something strength, and the Int Arcane caster has a little bit of dex. The Int Arcane caster, the dex is so good because we have that max cast speed with Radigan's icon, and man, that's just so good to have. It's just so nice. The Faith Arcane with the strength, we don't have that good cast speed, but what we do have is a great sword that does a boatload of damage, especially with that Ash of War. And so, you know, they kind of even out, and I just really love these two builds. They're pretty much like my favorite, you know, I think they're like my favorite types of builds, is like the melee caster, you know, especially in Elden Ring. Magic is so much fun in this game, and I haven't enjoyed magic like this since Dark Souls 1. I know a lot of people really loved the magic in Dark Souls 2, and I'm not saying anybody's wrong for whatever their opinion is. I'm just saying that me personally, you know, Dark Souls 1 was the one that had the magic that really I liked. Dark Moon Blade was like absurdly good. Wrath of God was absurdly good. Vow of Silence, Tranquil Walk of Peace, Wrath of God, did I say that already? Dark Bead, the other Dark Bead. Dark Bead is like a shotgun. There was another dark spell, it was like a rifle. That I also liked that one. And the Pyromancies, of course, were really fun. I just really, really liked Dark Souls 1's magic more than any other From Software game until Elden Ring, and I'm so glad that magic is back to being like a cool, fun thing. So yeah, these two builds probably, you know, they're like an amalgamation. These builds are at like 160-ish level range, so they're pretty high up there. But I love them, and I hope you do too, because there will be more of them soon. Until then, later, y'all.